Hey everyone, welcome back. Our next guests created their own rendition of the classic Cucarachita, and theirs is the Cucarachita Martina musical adventure, a short film celebrating Puerto Rican folklore, music, and culture. The film was inspired by Pura Belpere's classic picture book, Perez and Martina, a Puerto Rican tale which tells the story of beautiful Martina, who is wooed by sneaky Señor Gato, whiny Señor Pato, proud Señor Gallo, sass Señor Grillo, chatty Señor Sapo, and gallant Señor Perez the Mouse. The short film has been featured in Cine Youth Festival, as well as the Tribeca Film Festival. It has now rendered an Emmy nomination. And joining us to tell us more, we welcome film writer and author, Dr. Raquel Ortiz, along with the director and animator, six-time Emmy-nominated journalist Waldo Cabrera. Hello and welcome, bravo,
Hello.
It's so good to have you on.
Well,
It's great to be here.
well, it's fantastic. I'm looking at you and I'm looking at your background, and you fit perfectly into the animated film. I mean, we need to put you into the sequel.
I'd love to be a part of your sequel. I mean, I just love this whole concept. Let's just share with everyone a little of the history behind this classic folklore tale. And you know, I'll just leave that to La Doctora, who is our historian, to just give our audience a little background on it.
Sure. All right. So folk tales are the story of our people, of the people, and they tell what's important to us, what we celebrate, and they give us messages. So Cucarachita Martina is known throughout all of Latin America. And we have a number of Puerto Rican authors that have done different adaptations, their own versions. Pura Belpere was the first one to have it published in the United States back in 1932. And like you said, even in the title, a Puerto Rican folktale with the O, because back then, Puerto Rico.
I think I said it like that so that they could get it, but you know, they got to know in order to know, right?
Which they don't know, but that's another interview.
But that's why we're educating them.
Right. So Puerto was a warrior, a librarian, an educator, and an activist for bilingual education and literature, and one of our heroes at Centro.
Right, and so you both work at Centro, the Puerto Rico, right? The Center, the Puerto Rican Studies Center, the Puerto Rican Center for Studies of Puerto Rico.
Center for Puerto Rican Studies.
The Center. I went to college. I got that part right. And so Waldo, you know, I introduced you as a six-time Emmy nominated journalist, and I mean, we don't have the time to go over your entire resume, but we could share with everyone that you now have I think your own programming, right? It's called Light TV. And so you did this animation. You also work with Centro. So let's just talk about this partnership that you both have.
Well, the wonderful thing that Centro didn't know about me is that I was the creative director for the team that brought Pokemon to the United States. So I have an entire lifetime working in children's entertainment, and children's animation, children's entertainment is near and dear to my heart, and is honestly what I prefer to do. So when the opportunity came up to do an animated version of this story, I raised my hand and I said, listen, I think I could do a good job. You know, I didn't want to say, well, you know, remember Pokemon? I didn't want to be like big timing anyone, you know, but it was important for me to do something like this, because so many of our tales that we see on television, they're Eastern European based tales. And this one is right in it's from our neighborhood, it's from our people. So I jumped at the opportunity to be part of it.
Well, what a blessing that you come with those skills, right? And that you're well experienced in it, right? It wasn't experimental. And so while, you know, Raquel, I mean, I can totally see your stories becoming animations, right? I know, I see it. it's just really refreshing to see the accolades that you're already receiving. I do want to say I watched you both on the on ABC for the National Puerto Rican Day Parade. I love that they actually hosted it at El Centro, and I understand that El Centro also has a new interim executive director. And then there's this new energy coming behind the center, and now you guys being nominated for this Emmy for something that was created to educate people.
Right. No, it's a really, really fun time. And I think one of the most magical things is my mother loves this and Waldo's daughter loves this. So we have 5 and, a little bit older than 5 and everywhere in between. So we have this beautiful intergenerational moment where we're celebrating ourselves, we're celebrating our stories. We have, children and grandmas with the same kind of language. And it's fun, it's so much fun to watch it and to sing along. And the art that Marisha did the art for us, it's gorgeous. Desmar Guevara who made the music for us, it's beautiful. Mario Mateo did all of these crazy voices with Alejandra Ramos. And just a beautiful team making a beautiful product that we're having so much fun celebrating it and sharing it.
Yeah, you're both radiating. So Waldo, how long is the film and where can people watch this?
Well, the film is it's 16 minutes, and it's actually part of becoming a cultural ambassador. So we have Cultural Ambassador Junior, a program where we want our youth to learn more about their Puerto Rican history. So you could just sign up at centropr.hunter.cuny.edu, and you go in there, you just sign up to become a cultural ambassador, and you get access to see this film free online. And you get to also see a lot of other documentaries that we put together. But what I wanted to add on to what Raquel just said is that when we started doing this before the pandemic kicked in, but we came we went into full gear with it during the pandemic. And, and my thing was, I didn't want to create a book reading where someone sits there, opens a book and goes and flips a page. So I said, we need a budget. We really want to be able to do this, and Pura Belpre is so important to Centro that we need to go all out. And so they gave us a bit of a budget, and we hired some really great talent, and everyone overperformed because they loved this so much. Everyone just went out, and they did it mostly out of absolute love for the craft and for the concept. And the reason why we're doing this together, it was more than just a professional thing. There's a lot of passion behind it, and it obviously shows in the final product.
And memories. They shared with us their childhood memories. Alejandra talked about her birthday where they had Cucarachita Martina as the theme. Desmar spoke about acting as Ratoncito Perez. So this isn't something we made up like, oh, we like it and it's cool. No, this is something that's super, super everywhere in Puerto Rico. And a lot of kids in the diaspora didn't know about it. So now we're happy that we can share with our brothers and sisters on the island this story.
And pass it forward. And so how long did the whole thing take you to make? How long did the whole thing? I mean, you're saying that this was done over the pandemic and people got to know each other and you shared stories. So what was that process like?
It was a little choppy. I'll say the first part. It had already started in our Pura Bepre documentary. They had used some of the illustrations and used Pura's voice to narrate the story, the original story. But do you know the original story? There's not a good ending. so I saw the pieces and then I pitched to our director at that time, Edwin Melendez, to make it a standalone piece because I just felt the art was so strong and the story was so great. But it took a while. Waldo, do you even remember how many years? It was start go.
That must have been 5 years ago.
It really was.
The Pura Belpre documentary came out, and that those characters were first. They did their cameo presentation, and then the project sort of stood there. We were working on it, and just before it was June last year when they finally said go for it, hire everybody, go do it. So it was June last year where we got the official green light to go ahead and produce, and that's where we started doing the voiceovers. The script was already written, and then Desmad wrote the music. So it basically took about 9 months because we were done, well, 6 months because we were roughly done by December. We were done by December. And then after that, it was just minor upgrades and minor fixes here. But it took from, well, good 6 months, 6 solid months of hard work.
Well, look at it. It was all worth it. And now you're up for an Emmy, aside from the archival purposes and for passing it forward to the next generation in a more modern, I guess, fashion. The fact that it's being nominated for an Emmy and that you guys are now going to get to go, well, you know, Waldo, your experience with the Emmys, you're 6-time nominated. Better you get to go for an animation this time. And so when is the Emmys?
Well, right now that we're trying to decide, there's a lot of a concern about the pandemic. So they're making plans for the end of September, maybe the start of October. And they're being, rightfully so, they're being careful just because we have this new Delta variant and, you know, and the most people, the people that are most in the know are folks in the news. That's us in the media. So right. they're being a little hesitant, and hopefully we will get a final answer soon. As to whether or not we're going to have a live event, which is usually at the Marriott Marquis in the middle of Times Square.
Right. But needless to say, it's they're aiming for September of 2021. And on behalf of all of us here, we want to congratulate you both on your nomination, Dr. Raquel Ortiz and Waldo Cabrera. And you guys, if you want to watch it so that you know what you're rooting for, you can go to that I'm referring to, of course, the Cucarachita Martina musical adventure film that was created by these two. You can visit centropr.hunter.cuny.edu. All right, don't go anywhere. Bobby C's Weekly Sports Roundup is coming up next.